Hi everyone, we're back for week 2. I'm James Yodice, the high school sports editor here at the Albuquerque Journal, back with Ken Sickenger. We're here to pick some prep football games for you for week 2. We're coming off a terrible week 1 performance. We were both awful, just plain awful in picking games, so please forgive us. We're going to try to endeavor to do a little better this week. The schedule, unfortunately, not altogether that great this week. There are not many really key games on the schedule this week, but there is one huge showdown game at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces. El Dorado coming in to play Las Cruces High on Friday night. That is by far the best game of this weekend and probably the best matchup so far in the early season. Ken, let me get your thoughts. Both teams were very impressive in the first week.
They were. Las Cruces, I think, maybe more so by beating Manzano as handily as they did. El Dorado didn't get tested a whole lot, but I have a feeling both of them are going to get tested pretty significantly this week.
Yeah, Las Cruces is coming off a huge win over defending state champion Manzano. Ivan Molina, who's usually one of their best receivers, they used him in a Wildcat package against Manzano. He scored 3 early touchdowns running the ball out of the Wildcat package last week. Give Charlie Dotson, El Dorado's coach, something to think about for this week. So this should be a great quarterback matchup with Gabe Smith from El Dorado and his group going in for what is sure to be El Dorado's toughest non-district game. Now, the rest of the slate this week, not as juicy. Friday night, we have 2 teams from outside the state coming in to play Rio Rancho and Cleveland. El Paso Franklin, which is supposedly one of the best teams in El Paso, coming in to play Cleveland, and Pine Creek from Colorado Springs, which is ranked number 1 in Class 4A in Colorado, coming in to play Rio Rancho. Those kind of games are always interesting. You're never quite sure how they're going to work out.
No, you don't. I mean, we've seen that before with El Paso teams that you think are one of the best teams down there, and they don't necessarily play that way, or vice versa. They come in and shock a very good team. But I think this time I'm going to have a hard time picking against Cleveland in any situation. That team really has shown it.
Right. Among the city games here in Albuquerque on Friday night, we've got Atrisco Heritage playing Sandia at Wilson Stadium. We've got Manzano playing Rio Grande over at Milne. Those 2 games, I'm not sure how much intrigue we get. Atrisco's coming off a terrible performance against Mayfield. They certainly need a better showing this week. Maybe the most interesting of the city games on Friday night is Del Norte against Volcano Vista out at Community Stadium. The Hawks had terrible special teams against La Cueva in week 1. They've got to clean that up, playing your alma mater.
That's right. Del Norte, they hung in there pretty well with Berlin for most of the game, but couldn't hang on in the end. So We'll see if they can pick it up a little bit this week.
And just to let people know, one of the interesting aspects to the schedule this week is that we have 11 games around the state on Thursday night, which is an unusually high number. The New Mexico Activities Association has moved some games from Friday to Thursday so that they can all be officiated. So a couple of Metro games, including Highland at Valencia and Bernalillo at Navajo Prep, were moved from Friday night to Thursday night. So those 2 games are Thursday. La Cueva gets the week started on Thursday night against Valley. Valley's coming off a good week 1 win. La Cueva looked a little choppy for week 1, but that happens with a lot of teams in week 1. The Saturday schedule not very good this week. We've only got 1 game in town. Centennial's here to play West Mesa. Of all the weeks this week of this season, this is going to have the weakest schedule of any of the 11 weeks of the regular season. So we'll have a little bit more to talk about next week, better matchups. But enjoy week 2, and we'll see you next week.